Welcome back. Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a meeting, stood next to your coworkers, and suddenly had no idea what to say?
Oh, yes, more than once. I can talk to my friends for hours, but when I'm around coworkers or clients, my mind goes completely blank.
That's a very common feeling. Many English learners spend years studying grammar and vocabulary, but they still feel nervous during casual conversations at work.
Exactly. I always think, what if I say something strange? Or even worse, what if the conversation just stops?
And that's what today's episode is all about. We're going to explore the kind of small talk that helps you sound more professional without sounding overly formal. You'll learn natural phrases, understand when to use them, and hear plenty of real-life examples.
I like that. Sometimes people think small talk isn't important, but it actually shapes first impressions.
It really does. Before anyone notices your technical skills or experience, they often notice how comfortable you are in everyday conversations.
So, small talk isn't just about talking about the weather?
Not at all. The weather is only one possible topic. Professional small talk is really about making people feel comfortable. It's a simple way to build trust before getting down to business.
That makes sense. If someone starts talking to me before a meeting, they're probably not expecting a deep conversation.
Exactly. They're simply looking for a friendly connection. Think of it as opening a door instead of jumping straight into work.
I think one mistake I used to make was trying too hard to sound intelligent.
Really? What happened?
I'd use words that I had memorized from textbooks. They sounded impressive in my head, but when I actually said them, people looked confused.
That's a great example. Professional English isn't about using difficult vocabulary. It's about sounding clear, confident, and approachable.
So simple English can actually sound more professional?
Absolutely. Native speakers often choose simple words because they're easy to understand. Clear communication is always more valuable than complicated language.
I wish someone had told me that years ago.
You're definitely not alone.
So where should we start?
Let's imagine it's Monday morning. You arrive at the office and you see a coworker making coffee in the break room. What's the first thing you might say?
Maybe hello?
That's polite, but the conversation could end there.
True.
Instead, you could say, "Good morning. How's your week getting started?"
Oh, I like that. It's more specific than just asking, how are you?
Exactly. It invites the other person to share something, even if it's only a short answer.
And they might say, pretty well. It's been busy already.
Right. Then you could respond, "I know what you mean. My inbox was full when I got here."
That sounds natural. You're sharing a little about yourself, too.
That's an important part of small talk. It shouldn't feel like an interview. Both people should contribute.
I used to ask lots of questions because I thought that was the polite way to do it.
Questions are great, but if you only ask questions, the conversation can feel one-sided.
Kind of like a job interview.
Exactly. A good conversation is more like a game of catch. One person throws the ball and the other person throws it back.
That's a helpful way to think about it.
Here's another situation. Imagine you're waiting for a meeting to begin. Everyone is sitting around the table and there are still a few minutes before the manager arrives.
That silence always feels awkward.
It can, but it's also a perfect opportunity for light conversation.
What could I say?
You might say, "Has anyone tried the new cafe downstairs yet?"
That's easy. People usually have an opinion about food.
Exactly. Food, coffee, weekends, hobbies, commuting, and even local events are safe topics in many professional settings.
So I shouldn't immediately ask someone how much money they make.
Definitely not.
I was kidding.
I know, but it's actually a useful point. Professional small talk usually avoids topics that are too personal, too political, or too controversial.
So the goal isn't to impress people.
Right. The goal is to help everyone feel comfortable.
I think that's a much easier goal.
Before we continue, let's learn a useful expression you'll hear often in professional conversations.
I'm ready.
The phrase is, "How's everything going?"
That sounds simple.
It is, but it's also very flexible. You can use it with coworkers, clients you already know, classmates, or even neighbors.
So if I see someone I know at work, I can simply say, "Hey, how's everything going?"
Exactly. And if they answer, pretty good, just keeping busy, you can naturally continue the conversation.
I like that because it doesn't sound too formal or too casual.
That's one of the secrets of professional small talk. You're looking for that comfortable middle ground.
Speaking of that, I've noticed that some people seem to make small talk effortlessly. I wonder if they're actually following a simple pattern without even realizing it.
I think you're right. Most people don't memorize dozens of conversation starters. They simply follow a natural pattern.
Really? What's the pattern?
It's actually quite simple. Start with a friendly opener, respond to what the other person says, and then add something from your own experience.
So it's not just question after question.
Exactly. Imagine someone says, "I had a really busy weekend."
My first reaction would probably be, "Oh, really?"
That's a good start. Then you could ask, "What kept you so busy?"
And after they answer, I shouldn't just stop there.
Right. You might say, "That sounds like a full weekend. Mine was much quieter. I finally had time to finish a book I'd been reading."
That feels much more balanced.
That's because you're giving the conversation somewhere to go. Small talk works best when both people share small pieces of information.
I like the phrase small pieces. You don't have to tell your whole life story.
Definitely not. Think of it as exchanging postcards instead of writing a novel.
That's a great image.
Let me tell you about something that happened to me a few years ago. I attended a networking event where everyone seemed confident. People were smiling, chatting, and moving naturally from one conversation to another.
Meanwhile, you were standing in the corner?
Pretty much. I was holding a cup of coffee and pretending to be very interested in the decorations.
I've done that before.
Finally, someone walked over and asked, "Hi, have you been to one of these events before?"
That's a simple question.
Exactly. I answered honestly. I said, "No, it's actually my first time."
Then what happened?
They smiled and said, "Mine too. I wasn't sure what to expect."
Suddenly you had something in common.
That's the key. Good small talk often begins with something you both share. Maybe it's your first meeting, the same company, the same conference, or even the same weather outside.
I think people sometimes search for the perfect topic.
They do, but the perfect topic usually doesn't exist. The goal is simply to create a comfortable connection.
So instead of trying to sound impressive, I should try to sound interested.
That's one of the best pieces of advice I can give.
There's a big difference between those two ideas.
There really is. People generally enjoy talking with someone who listens carefully and responds naturally.
That reminds me of another mistake I used to make.
What was it?
I'd worry so much about my next sentence that I stopped listening to the other person.
That's incredibly common among English learners.
I'd be thinking, what's the correct grammar? Or which words should I use? Then I'd realize I'd missed half of what they just said.
Exactly. When we're nervous, our attention moves away from the conversation and toward ourselves.
How can we avoid that?
One simple trick is to become curious. Instead of asking yourself, "What should I say next?" ask yourself, "What can I learn about this person?"
That's interesting. It changes the focus completely.
It does. Curiosity naturally creates better conversations.
Let's try a quick role play.
Great idea. Imagine we're coworkers waiting for an elevator after lunch.
I'll start. Hey, how's everything going this afternoon?
Pretty well, thanks. I finally finished that report I'd been working on all morning.
That's always a good feeling. Was it a difficult project?
It took longer than I expected, but I'm happy it's done. Now I can focus on tomorrow's meeting.
I know that feeling. I've been getting ready for tomorrow too.
Hopefully we'll both have a less stressful afternoon.
I hope so.
Notice something?
Nobody asked an unusual question.
Exactly. The conversation stayed simple, but it felt friendly and professional.
And nobody gave one-word answers.
That's another important point. If someone asks, "How's your day going?" don't just say, "Fine."
Give them a little more.
Right. You could say, "Pretty good. It's been busy but productive."
Or maybe it's going well. I'm looking forward to finishing a few projects today.
Perfect. Those extra words make it much easier for the other person to continue the conversation.
So we're not trying to speak longer just to practice English.
No, we're simply making conversation easier for both people.
I can already see a pattern. Good small talk isn't about clever jokes or amazing stories. It's about making the other person feel comfortable enough to keep talking.
Exactly. And once you understand that idea, another useful skill becomes much easier, knowing how to keep a conversation going when it feels like it's starting to slow down. That's a situation everyone experiences. The conversation starts well, but after a minute or two, you feel like you've run out of things to say.
That's when I usually smile, nod, and hope someone else starts talking.
There's nothing wrong with a short conversation, but it's helpful to know a few techniques that keep things flowing naturally.
I'm definitely interested in those techniques.
The easiest one is to listen for a key word.
What do you mean by a key word?
Listen carefully to what the other person says. They'll usually mention something you can explore a little further.
Can you give me an example?
Of course. Imagine I say, I spent most of the weekend helping my sister move into her new apartment.
The key word could be apartment.
That's one possibility. Another could be weekend or even moving.
So I could ask, was the new apartment far away?
Exactly. Or you could say, moving is always a lot of work. Is she happy with the new place?
Those questions sound natural because they're connected to what you already said.
Right. You aren't changing the subject. You're showing genuine interest.
I think that's where conversations become enjoyable.
Absolutely. People appreciate feeling heard.
That reminds me of a conversation I had with a classmate.
What happened?
He mentioned he had started learning photography. Instead of asking about photography, I suddenly asked where he wanted to travel next.
That's quite a jump.
I know. Looking back, I accidentally changed the subject too quickly.
Exactly. A smoother response would have been something like, "That's interesting. What made you decide to get into photography?"
Then the conversation could naturally move toward travel later.
Right. Conversations usually flow best when each topic connects to the previous one.
So instead of making sharp turns, we're taking small steps.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
I also noticed that good conversationalists react before asking another question.
That's a great observation.
They'll say something like, "That sounds exciting," or "That must have been challenging."
Exactly. Those short reactions make the conversation feel warmer.
They also show you're paying attention.
Let's practice with another role play.
Sounds good.
Imagine we're coworkers talking a few minutes before an online meeting begins.
I'll start. "Hey, I heard you were out of the office yesterday."
Yeah, I took the day off. My parents came to visit.
"That sounds nice. Were they in town for long?"
Just for the weekend, but we had a great time together.
"I'm glad to hear that. Did you get a chance to show them around the city?"
We did. We tried a new restaurant that I'd been wanting to visit.
"Oh, really? Was it worth the wait?"
Definitely. I'd go back again.
"I'll have to add it to my list."
Notice how every response connects naturally to the previous one?
And nobody had to think of a completely new topic.
Exactly. That's one of the biggest secrets behind effortless small talk.
I always imagined confident speakers had hundreds of conversation topics ready.
Most of them don't. They simply pay attention and build on what's already there.
That makes the whole process feel much less stressful.
Here's another useful phrase you'll hear in professional conversations. I've been meaning to.
Oh, I use that sometimes.
It's perfect for small talk because it lets you talk about plans naturally. For example, I've been meaning to read that book, or I've been meaning to try that cafe.
It sounds relaxed and conversational.
Exactly, and you'll probably hear native speakers use it quite often.
We've talked about starting conversations and keeping them going, but there's another part that I think many English learners find difficult.
Let me guess, ending the conversation politely without making it awkward.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Ending a conversation politely is an underrated skill. Most people spend time learning how to start conversations, but they rarely think about how to finish them naturally.
That's definitely me. Sometimes I stay in a conversation longer than I need to because I don't know how to leave without sounding rude.
You're not the only one. Fortunately, professional English has some simple phrases that make ending a conversation feel smooth and respectful.
I'd love to learn those.
Let's imagine you're chatting with a coworker before a meeting. The manager walks into the room and everyone starts getting ready.
That's the perfect moment to wrap things up.
Exactly. You could simply say, "Well, I'd better get set for the meeting."
That sounds very natural.
It does, because you're giving a reason for leaving. People understand that work comes first.
So instead of saying, I have to go, I can make it a little softer.
Right. Another useful phrase is, "It was great catching up with you."
I hear that one a lot.
It's especially common if you're talking to someone you haven't seen for a while.
And the other person might answer, yeah, let's talk again soon.
Exactly. That's a friendly way to end the conversation on a positive note.
What if I'm talking to someone at a conference or a networking event?
That's another common situation. You could say, "I've really enjoyed talking with you. I'm going to grab another coffee, but I hope we get a chance to talk again later."
I like that because you're ending the conversation without making it sound final.
That's the goal. You leave the door open for another conversation.
I think many English learners worry that ending a conversation means rejecting the other person.
That's an understandable concern, but in professional settings, everyone knows people have schedules, meetings, and responsibilities.
So leaving politely is completely normal.
Exactly. Can we try another role play?
Of course. Imagine we're attending a company networking event. I'll start this time. Hi, I don't think we've met before. I'm Alex from the marketing team.
Nice to meet you, Alex. I'm Jordan from customer support.
Have you been with the company long?
Just over a year. It's gone by pretty quickly.
I know what you mean. I've only been here 6 months, but it already feels much longer.
Have you enjoyed working on the marketing team?
Definitely. Every project is a little different, so there's always something new to learn.
That sounds interesting. Customer support is similar. Every day brings different challenges.
I can imagine. Well, I've really enjoyed talking with you. I'm going to go say hello to a couple of other coworkers before the event ends.
Absolutely. It was great meeting you. Hopefully we'll see each other around the office.
I'm sure we will. Have a great evening.
You too. That conversation lasted less than 2 minutes, but it created a positive first impression.
And nobody felt awkward when it ended.
Exactly. You know, something else used to confuse me.
What's that?
I thought professional people always spoke in a serious voice.
That's a common misconception.
So it's okay to smile and sound relaxed?
Absolutely. Being professional doesn't mean sounding like a robot. It means showing respect, listening carefully, and communicating clearly.
That actually makes conversations feel much less stressful.
Here's a good example. Compare these two responses.
Okay.
First response, yes, the project was completed.
That's very direct.
Now listen to this. Yeah, we finished it yesterday. I'm happy everything came together.
The second one sounds much more human.
Exactly. It's still professional, but it feels warm and conversational.
I think many learners are afraid contractions like "I'm" or "we've" sound too casual.
In most workplace conversations, contractions are completely natural. Native speakers use them all the time.
That's good to know.
Another small habit that makes you sound approachable is showing appreciation.
What do you mean?
If someone gives you advice, shares an idea, or recommends something, don't just say, okay.
I could say, "Thanks, I appreciate that."
Exactly. Or, that's really helpful. Those short responses make conversations feel more positive.
They're easy to remember, too.
They are. Professional communication isn't usually about long speeches. It's built from lots of small moments like thanking someone, showing interest, and responding thoughtfully.
I like that idea. Instead of trying to impress everyone with perfect English, I can focus on making each interaction a little more comfortable.
That's exactly the mindset. And now that we've talked about starting, continuing, and ending conversations, it's time to practice some of these expressions in realistic situations you'll probably experience at work almost every week.
Let's put everything we've learned into practice. We'll go through a few realistic workplace situations, and after each one, we'll talk about why the conversation works.
I like that. Sometimes it's easier to learn by listening than by memorizing rules.
Exactly. Let's begin with a situation that happens almost every morning.
Walking into the office?
That's right.
I'll start. Good morning. How's your day going so far?
Pretty well. I got in a little early, so I've already answered most of my emails.
That's a great feeling. I'm still working through mine.
Mondays can be like that.
They definitely can.
Are you working on anything interesting this week?
Actually, yes. Our team is starting a new project, so I'm excited to see how it goes.
That sounds exciting. I hope everything gets off to a smooth start.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to it.
Short, friendly, and natural.
I also noticed that nobody gave very long answers.
Exactly. Small talk doesn't require long conversations. A few genuine exchanges are often enough.
I think learners sometimes believe they need to keep talking for 10 minutes.
Not at all. Even 1 or 2 minutes can build a positive relationship.
Let's try another situation.
Imagine you're waiting for a presentation to begin. Everyone is finding a seat.
Okay. Have you seen this presenter before?
No, but I've heard good things about her sessions.
Same here. A coworker recommended this presentation last week.
Then we're probably in for something useful.
I hope so. I'm always looking for new ideas.
Me too. It's nice when you leave a meeting with something practical you can use right away.
That felt effortless.
Because both people stayed on the same topic and responded naturally.
Nobody was trying to sound impressive.
Exactly.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
What if someone asks me a question and I don't completely understand it?
That's an important situation. Many learners panic because they think asking someone to repeat themselves will make them sound unprofessional.
I've definitely felt that way.
But the opposite is usually true. Asking for clarification shows that you care about understanding correctly.
So what should I say?
You could say, "Sorry, could you say that one more time?"
That's simple.
Or, "I just want to make sure I understood. Did you say the meeting starts at 3?"
I like that one because it also confirms the information.
Exactly. Another useful phrase is, "Could you explain that a little differently?"
That sounds polite.
It is. Remember, even native speakers sometimes ask people to repeat themselves.
That's reassuring. Here's a quick story. I once watched 2 experienced managers discussing a project. One of them stopped the conversation and said, "Sorry, I missed that last part. Could you go over it again?"
Really?
Yes, nobody thought less of him. They simply continued the conversation.
That's a good reminder that communication is more important than pretending to understand.
Exactly. I think confidence sometimes means being honest.
I completely agree.
Let's practice another realistic conversation.
Great idea.
Imagine we've just finished a meeting.
Okay.
That was a productive discussion.
I thought so too. It feels good when everyone leaves with a clear plan.
Definitely. I especially like the idea about improving communication between teams.
Same here. I think that could make a real difference.
It'll be interesting to see how it works over the next few weeks.
I'm looking forward to seeing the results.
Again, the conversation stayed relaxed.
And notice another useful expression, "I'm looking forward to."
That's one of those phrases that works almost everywhere.
Exactly. You can say, "I'm looking forward to the weekend," "I'm looking forward to the meeting," or "I'm looking forward to working together."
It's positive without sounding overly enthusiastic.
Right. That's one reason it's so common in professional English.
So far, we've focused on conversations with coworkers.
We have.
But sometimes small talk feels even more difficult when you're speaking with a client, a new manager, or someone you've just met for the first time.
That's true. The conversation becomes a little more formal, but the same principles still apply. In fact, there are a few simple habits that can help you sound confident from the very first minute of the conversation. Let's imagine you're meeting a client for the first time. Maybe you're waiting in the reception area, or perhaps you're joining a video call a few minutes early.
That's definitely a situation where I'd feel a little nervous.
And that's perfectly normal. The good news is that you don't need to say anything extraordinary. A simple, friendly conversation is usually enough.
So, what might that sound like?
Let's try it.
Hi, it's nice to finally meet you. I've been looking forward to today's meeting.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for taking the time to meet with us.
Of course. I hope your trip over here wasn't too difficult.
Not at all. Traffic was actually lighter than I expected.
That's always a pleasant surprise.
It certainly is.
Did you have any trouble finding the building?
No, the directions were very clear.
I'm glad to hear that.
Notice that neither person is discussing business yet.
They're just helping each other feel comfortable first.
Exactly. After a minute or two, moving into the meeting feels much more natural.
I can see why small talk is so valuable.
Here's another situation. Imagine you've just joined a company and you're meeting your manager for coffee during your first week.
That's exciting, but also a little intimidating.
Let's see how it could sound.
So, how's your week been so far?
It's been great. There's been a lot to learn, but everyone's been very welcoming.
That's wonderful to hear. Starting a new job can be overwhelming.
It can, but I'm really enjoying getting to know the team.
Have you settled into your workspace yet?
Almost. I still need to organize a few things, but it's starting to feel familiar.
I remember feeling exactly the same way during my first week.
Hearing that actually makes me feel better.
That conversation feels encouraging.
It does, because both people are sharing small personal experiences.
Nobody is giving a speech.
Exactly. Professional conversations are often built from simple, honest responses.
I have another question.
Go ahead.
What if there's a moment of silence?
Ah, the famous awkward silence.
Every English learner knows that feeling.
Here's something that might surprise you. Silence isn't always a problem.
Really?
Not at all. Native speakers experience short pauses too. The difference is they don't panic.
I think I usually panic after about 2 seconds.
Then your brain starts racing.
Exactly. I immediately think I have to say something.
Instead, take a breath and look for something around you or something you've already discussed.
Can you give me an example?
Imagine you're waiting for a meeting to begin. After a short pause, you might simply say, "It looks like everyone's arriving now."
That's easy.
Or, "This conference room has a great view."
Even something that simple works?
Absolutely. Remember, small talk doesn't have to be brilliant, it just has to feel natural.
I think that's one of the biggest lessons from today's episode.
I agree.
Sometimes we create pressure by expecting ourselves to sound like professional speakers.
When in reality, most successful professionals simply sound relaxed and interested.
That takes a lot of pressure off.
It does.
Before we continue, could we practice some of the expressions we've learned?
Great idea. Let's do a short shadowing session. Listen carefully.
It's nice to finally meet you.
Now your turn. Here's another one.
How's your week going so far?
Say it with me. Good. Let's try the next sentence.
I'm looking forward to working together.
Your turn. Excellent. Here's another one.
That sounds like an interesting project.
Now you try. Very nice. Let's continue.
I've been meaning to try that cafe.
Your turn. One more.
Thanks, I really appreciate that.
Say it once more in your own natural voice.
Those expressions all feel useful because I can imagine using them tomorrow.
That's exactly the goal. Learning English becomes much easier when you practice sentences that fit real situations instead of memorizing isolated vocabulary.
And I think hearing them in conversations makes them easier to remember.
Absolutely. But there's one final skill we haven't talked about yet. It's the habit that quietly separates people who simply speak English from people who sound genuinely confident and professional in almost any conversation. I think the biggest difference between someone who sounds confident and someone who sounds uncomfortable isn't their vocabulary, it's their mindset.
That's interesting. What do you mean?
Confident speakers don't try to prove they're fluent. They focus on connecting with the other person.
So they're thinking about the conversation, not about themselves.
Exactly. Instead of wondering, did I use the correct tense? They're wondering, did I understand what this person meant?
Or I can relate to that. Whenever I'm worried about making mistakes, I stop enjoying the conversation.
And people usually don't notice the small grammar mistakes you're worried about. What they notice is your attitude. Are you friendly? Are you listening? Are you engaged?
That makes a lot of sense.
Let me give you an example. Imagine two people introduce themselves at a conference.
Okay.
The first person speaks with perfect grammar but never smiles, gives very short answers, and doesn't ask a single question.
That conversation would probably end pretty quickly.
Exactly. Now imagine someone else who makes one or two small grammar mistakes, but smiles, listens carefully, and shows genuine interest.
I'd probably enjoy talking with the second person much more.
Most people would.
So communication is more than perfect English.
Much more. Professional communication is really about making other people feel respected and comfortable.
That's something learners often forget.
Here's another habit that confident speakers have. They don't rush.
Oh, I definitely rush sometimes.
Why do you think that happens?
Probably because I'm afraid of forgetting my next sentence.
That's very common, but speaking a little more slowly often makes you sound more confident.
Even if my English isn't perfect?
Especially then, a calm pace gives you more time to think, and it also makes you easier to understand.
I never thought about it that way.
Many learners believe fast English sounds fluent. In reality, clear English sounds fluent.
That's a great point.
Let's imagine another workplace situation.
Sounds good.
You've just finished giving a short presentation. A coworker walks over during the break.
I'll be the coworker. Nice presentation. I like the example you used.
Thanks. I'm glad it was helpful.
How long have you been working on that project?
For about 4 months now. It's been challenging, but I've learned a lot along the way.
I can imagine. It sounds like a rewarding experience.
It has been. There have definitely been a few surprises, though.
Really? Like what?
Well, we expected one part of the project to be the hardest, but it actually turned out to be the easiest. The real challenge came from something we hadn't planned for.
That's interesting. I guess projects don't always go the way we expect.
Exactly, but that's also part of what makes the work enjoyable.
I noticed something about that conversation.
What did you notice?
Neither person tried to dominate the discussion. Both people had a chance to speak.
That's another sign of a good conversation. You don't need to fill every second with your own ideas.
Listening is just as important as speaking.
Absolutely.
Before we finish today's episode, could we do one more shadowing practice?
Of course, these are all expressions you can use at work this week. Listen carefully.
It's been a busy week so far.
Now your turn. Here's another one.
I'm glad we had a chance to talk.
Say it with me. Excellent. Next one.
That sounds like a great idea.
Your turn. Good. Let's keep going.
I've learned a lot from this project.
Now you try. Here's another.
I appreciate your feedback.
Your turn. One last sentence.
I hope we can work together again.
Say it naturally, just like you would in a real conversation.
I can already imagine using those phrases.
That's exactly what you should do. Don't wait until you know thousands of words. Start using a handful of useful expressions consistently.
Because confidence comes from practice, not from memorizing another vocabulary list.
Exactly. And before we wrap up, let's review the most important ideas from today's conversation and leave you with a few habits that can immediately make your small talk sound more professional. We've covered a lot today, so let's bring everything together. If you remember only a few ideas from this episode, these are the ones I'd focus on.
I like a good recap. It helps everything stick.
First, remember that professional small talk isn't about sounding impressive.
It's about helping people feel comfortable.
Exactly. If people enjoy talking with you, they'll usually remember that much more than a perfectly advanced vocabulary word.
That idea really changed the way I think about conversations.
Second, don't feel like you have to carry the entire conversation by yourself.
Right. A conversation is something two people build together.
Listen carefully, react naturally, and share a little about your own experience.
Instead of asking 5 questions in a row.
Exactly.
Third, don't panic if there's a short silence.
That's an important one. A brief pause is completely normal. You don't have to fill every second with words.
I think I'll remember that the next time I'm in a meeting.
Good. And finally, don't wait until your English feels perfect before you start having conversations.
Because perfection isn't the goal.
Communication is.
You know, There's something I've realized while recording today's episode.
What's that?
The people who always seemed confident at work probably didn't just get born with that confidence.
I agree.
They simply had hundreds of small conversations over time.
Exactly. Every greeting, every coffee break, every meeting before the meeting, those little moments slowly built their confidence.
Which means we can build that confidence too.
Absolutely. One conversation at a time.
Before we finish, could we do one final shadowing practice?
I'd love to. These are some of the most practical expressions from today's episode. Listen carefully.
How's everything going?
Now your turn. Here's the next one.
It's nice to finally meet you.
Say it with me. Excellent.
That sounds like an interesting project.
Your turn. Here's another.
I'm looking forward to working together.
Now you try. Very good.
Thanks. I really appreciate your help.
Your turn. Keep going.
I've been meaning to ask you about that.
Say it naturally. One more.
It was great talking with you.
Now your turn. Excellent work.
Those all sound like sentences I could use at work tomorrow morning.
That's exactly why we chose them. They're short, natural, and useful in real conversations.
Instead of memorizing 50 new expressions, I think I'll focus on using these 7 or 8 until they become automatic.
That's a smart strategy. Fluency grows through repetition and real experience.
And I think today's episode also showed that small talk has a bigger purpose.
It does.
You're not talking just to avoid silence.
Right.
You're building trust, creating stronger professional relationships, and making future conversations much easier.
Exactly. Those small moments often lead to better teamwork, stronger networking opportunities, and a more enjoyable workplace.
It's funny, something that seems so small can have such a big impact.
That's why it's called small talk, not unimportant talk.
I like that.
So this week, challenge yourself to start one extra conversation. Maybe greet a coworker, chat with a classmate before class, or ask someone how their week is going.
Keep it simple.
Listen carefully.
Show genuine interest.
And don't worry about making every sentence perfect.
Because every conversation is one more step toward becoming a more confident English speaker.
Exactly. Thanks for spending this time with us today. We hope these conversations help you feel a little more comfortable every time you use English at work or in everyday life.
And remember, confidence doesn't come from knowing every word. It comes from using the words you already know with a calm, friendly attitude.
We hope you have a wonderful week filled with great conversations.
Take care, keep practicing, and we'll talk with you again soon.